So Cowboy fans
Yes.
are livid, and it may even be Parsons. I don't remember which player it was,
Okay.
who said to a Philadelphia Eagle, "Go win this for our division."
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Give me your thoughts, because it would be like, and I understand fans being upset,
Yeah.
but I don't understand necessarily fans being upset at the player who wants somebody that he knows that's in the division. He thinks it looks good that the division goes on and wins the Super Bowl.
Okay, so Kayvon Thibodeau plays for the Giants, and he had a tweet that kind of went viral. I don't know if you saw it, because the Niners are losing. He said, we want to be better than the Niners because the Eagles beat us by less points, or whatever it was. So that kind of thing happens, and it makes you feel better. Fans might not feel the same way, but what you have to understand is we're athletes. The same way I ask every UFC fighter that we interview, how do you get punched in the face and go hug somebody afterwards? We're friends. At the end of the day, we're friends.
It's still got to be different, though. It's different between an offensive and a defensive lineman pushing and shoving and this and that, and getting punched in the face for 15 minutes.
I agree with you, but when I talk to the UFC guys, they always tell me, like, hey, it's a sport. It's the same way. It's a respect thing. And so, like, it probably will make the Cowboys guy, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what the tweet or the whatever it was. I don't know how that happened, but if I beat the Cowboys and then they beat the Eagles and they go win the Super Bowl, I might feel better about myself because they won the Super Bowl or whatever it was, or what, so.
What if it was, we'll say the Saints, when you played for the Saints. And I won't even say Tampa, because obviously you still have friends there. And I won't even say Carolina or Atlanta.
Or because you played all the teams there.
If you were still playing for the Saints, would you root for the 49ers? Would you root for another team that's in the NFC over an AFC team?
No, I wouldn't. I just got to the point where I can root for the Bucks.
All right, let's switch gears. We were talking a little bit about the Slap League. Let's welcome to the program a local guy who will be coming out here in a couple weeks. He is one of the coaches. He's going to give us some of that coaching stuff that we've been talking about.
Ready.
And that's Damian DeBell. Damon, how are you? Damon, are you there?
Oh, what was that?
No, I was just asking if you were there. Are you there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Breaking up a
cool.
little bit.
Sorry about that. Everybody pushed their headsets on a little bit. Tell us a little bit about, we've been talking about the slap fighting. Tell us from the coaching standpoint, what are you coaching? How are you coaching? What is it that you're coaching?
Really, it's just like form and techniques and going over like how to really deliver power while still, following the rules that were provided.
We'll talk about the rules here in a second, but are you also teaching, I guess, the opponent on how to take the slap, or?
Really, there is flinching violations, so we try to train the guys to not be scared of the hit, even though it's coming either way, but there's really not much you could do about, defensive, like not flinching. It's more just the offensive, not stepping, hitting accurately that we really focused on.
So when you're coaching a guy, because some guys, you have up to 3 wind-ups, right, in the slap league, from what I've seen. And how do you coach them on that? Like, okay, you have enough power to do 1 wind-up. You need 3 wind-ups. Like, what's your approach to guys about that? Because you can't coach anybody to take a hit. You have a chin or you don't have a chin. That's just kind of how it works. So what's your approach to guys as far as wind-ups and how much power they have? How do you gauge those kind of things?
For that, we suggest 3. That's just because that's how we were doing it when we were doing it at the old league. So we suggest 3, but if they decide to go on 2 on 1, we'll work with them through that. But we always suggested 3 just because that's how we came up doing it, and that's just how we know how to do it.
Is there... I don't want either one of these 2 knuckleheads to slap me, so I'm backing away. Like, is there a spot, that you kind of aim for when you're trying to slap?
You're really just aiming to hit him on the chin, just like with the open part of your palm, but it's really just aiming for that lower cheek side. Not really. It really depends on how big your hand is, honestly.
So in I mean, a lot of different disciplines, bare knuckle boxers, for example, it's a new sport that came out 4 years ago in U.S. soil. So they found that punching sand to toughen up their knuckles was an advantage. Is there anything that guys do? I mean, with Muay Thai, they kick coconut trees and such to deaden the shins. Like, is there anything you can do to toughen up your hand or your palm to make it more impactful?
Yeah. A lot of the dudes that have been doing this for a while, we slap bricks, tires, whatever. I personally have a brick wrapped in canvas that I use to harden my hand. I'm pretty sure Darius uses a tire, and I forgot what Wolverine used. But we all use something to harden our hands.
When coaches are putting a team together, what are you looking for? And how do you judge that this is somebody that can get into this discipline?
Really is judging on how well they could take a slap and how well they're going to take our advice, and like who we think has the best potential for listening and following the rules. And because really in the TV show is teaching a whole new sport to these guys, so we want dudes that are going to really absorb the information we're trying to give to them.
Okay, so this might sound silly to a lot of people. Does a beard actually help? Because it seems like a lot of people that get knocked out have smaller beards, and people with the bigger beards don't get knocked out as much. And again, this might just be my silly observation, but it's something that I've noticed.
Honestly, I don't think a beard helps. A lot of the dudes that participate don't think a beard helps. Darius, who's been doing this for a long time, he's a heavyweight champion currently. Like, he doesn't have a beard, and he hasn't been knocked out. He hasn't even been knocked down, I don't think. So, I don't think it helps really at all.
I will say it's been very entertaining to watch. I was watching it when I was watching the Russians and the Khabib's, his, line. We're doing it. Very, very entertaining. It's been crazy to me, and I really, really enjoyed the whole rollout, everything that happened. So, dude, kudos to you. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed watching it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what got me into it. I just enjoyed watching it so much. I thought it'd be fun, and I was just like, hey, let me try this out. And it's been a blast ever since.
Damon, let me ask you this, in your opinion, which is harder to coach, using the power to, the full power, or trying to teach someone not to flinch, to stand there and take what's about to come?
Harder to coach would probably be the flinching, because you could coach someone on to hit properly, and that just takes a couple weeks of practice to really get down to use your power, and then it turns into tweaking it how you want. But teaching someone not to flinch when a hit is coming at you is basically teaching them to do the opposite of what their body is telling them to do. It feels damn near impossible, but you just got to keep working through it if you want to continue in the sport.
So along those lines, the stick that they hold behind them, to keep their shoulders down, is there an advantage if they squeeze and keep tension on that rod, or if a loosened grip is better to absorb a punch or a slap?
Honestly, it's still debated between us as well, but I personally try to eat my slaps just because that's the name of the game, really. That's how I like to participate in the sport, just trying to hold out, not move at all. I'm trying to eat the slap that's coming at me. So I would suggest the guys to tense up and try to take the slap, but if loosening up helps you absorb the slap more, whatever, and you're just trying to win, I can respect that. But that's just how I've been doing it, and that's how I try to do it.
What do you say to people who say the sport is barbaric? Because USC, when it came out, was supposed to be barbaric, and we know how big that is. Bare knuckle was barbaric, and we know how big that's getting now. What do you say to people who judge your sport and say it's not skilled, and it's people just getting knocked out, and this, that, and other? As a partner in this business, what do you say to people who have those
I'll try to keep this nice, but I really just ignore those types of people because, like,
As you should.
if
As
you're
you
going to
should.
do something for no reason like that, then it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's
Yeah.
a fun sport to watch. I don't understand how it's a problem for you that it's a sport.
And this goes back to when the UFC first.
I'll tell you what I say, and this goes back to when the UFC first kind of started, and I had this disagreement with legend boxing commentator Bert Sugar, and same with a guy at the Four Letter Network. My first thing is, have you watched it? And 90% of the people that have a problem with anything have never seen it.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's
until
true.
you've seen it, shut up. I don't even want to hear your comment. That's my opinion.
Randy, I agree with you.
Yeah,
People talk
100%.
about UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the same logic I'm following. Like, if you haven't even watched it, like, giving it a shot, then why are you bothering hating on it? That, like, you didn't even watch it to give me an opinion on it.
What's been seen.
We're only going to talk up to what's been seen. We may touch just in a second about tonight's episode, but talk about what we've seen, the filming so far. What is something that's happened? And I used to ask this all the time, with the Ultimate Fighter, that hasn't necessarily been on the show, but is kind of still a storyline that we should have seen. Is there anything at all?
What should
Honestly, I can't even think of one.
All right. What should we look for, again, without giving out any details or anything like that that's on tonight? Kind of give us a little rundown of what we're about to see tonight.
They didn't give me the episode guide, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get some screen time this episode. So I say look forward to that. I think training is supposed to start this episode as well. So we actually get to see some of the beginnings of our training session with the guys and stuff like that.
All right, before I let Matt ruin this and end this whole thing, I'm going to ask you a serious question. When you come out here in a couple weeks, and we're going to send the limo for you, we're going to do the whole thing. Do you want? What do you weigh, Kim?
Currently 300.
Do you want to slap the 380-pound guy or the 210?
Goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
take the 380 guy.
80.
Take the 380 guys are soft
380?
All right, so 310 or 215. Which one do you want to slap, and I'll make sure it happens.
I have to go first, though.
If you can make it happen, it's got to be the 380. It's the bigger the better.
That's it. All right. The harder they fall. No, that's it. I was just, I wanted to invite you to come to the restaurant when you come in town.
Already taken care of.
We'll hook it up, man.
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna bring you into the restaurant. We're gonna do the show live as we always do here. We're looking forward to that. But what, Kevin?
Dude, amazing show. I had a blast watching it. I really, really did. I've been a fan of it before it got to UFC, but great show, great times. Keep going. Much respect.
Damon, I want to thank you for your time today. We'll see you in a couple weeks out here. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong, as well as a case from Blue Smoke Salsa as well. And we'll talk to you again really, really soon.
All right, appreciate you guys having me on.
We will talk again. It's the Slap League as it continues on tonight. And Damon will be out here
Slap League.
in a couple weeks. All right, let's hit the top of the hour. When we come back out to the UFC Apex, we got to calm Caleb down because the Black Beast will be on here shortly.
And the
as well.
Tampa Bay Strikers debuted this past week.